Hi, my name is Delaney Holman. I'm a senior at Oswego High School.
My name is Austin. I'm a sophomore at Oswego High School.
And this is our podcast for 4250, our school journalism website. So this podcast we're going to be talking about Kanye's new album, Donda, versus Drake's new album, Certified Lover Boy, and all of the controversy and arguments around that. So to start off, I couldn't get through Certified Lover Boy all the way.
I have tried listening multiple times. I've gotten through it. I just cannot intensely pay attention to the full album more than once.
Me neither. It's hard to, it's just like, I've definitely listened to the whole thing in like sporadic like bits and pieces in different times, but I couldn't sit and listen to it all in one sitting intensely and like go through all the lyrics and like everything, just because it was like, for the Drake's album, like Certified Lover Boy, like some of the songs were like hard to tell when one song started and another song ended, because they all just sounded like Drake.
Agreed. I think he's gone... So I guess we'll get through this album first then, just overall thoughts. Mm-hmm. I think he's gone nowhere with it. It feels uninspired, which is probably why it blends together a lot. There's nothing... It's shallow a lot of the time. I liked Champagne Poetry starting it off.
Poetry was a song that I would go back to a couple times. That one was good. That was a replayable song in the album. I'll give him that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked that as an introduction. It was solid. I was like, okay, this is cool getting into it.
Yeah, starting it, you were like, this might not be as bad.
It was all downhill from there. It was a good, decent song. Nothing matched it. Some songs, I will say, were enjoyable in the flow if you aren't paying attention that much, which it's Drake. He's going to be writing some radio hits, enjoyable...
As Drake does, most of his songs are kind of just radio hits, and especially Certified Lover Boy, like, I felt like it just wasn't going to be, like, if there was no conversation of Donda versus Certified Lover Boy, and if they weren't dropped, like, back-to-back, I feel like there would have been little to no coverage over Certified Lover Boy. It'd been like, oh yeah, Drake dropped an album.
I'd say so. Yeah, I actually agree. Some singles, though, would get buzz, like...
Yeah.
Speaking of radio play, like, Way Too Sexy is embarrassing of a song, but it's clearly reaching for a radio hit. It does.
It's catchy.
It's catchy.
But
it hits
also,
the radio
isn't
mark.
the song cut from another song? Like, doesn't have, like, it takes samples from another song. Which, I mean, like, so does most music, because you can't have art without inspiration from other art. But overall, Certified Lover Boy was okay. I didn't love it. I was kind of upset with some of the songs, especially since they all just sounded like Drake. Like, I felt like there was nothing special about it. Like, Drake didn't really reach anywhere farther in his career, or didn't, like, experiment or, like, explore anymore. And it kind of made me really upset. And, like, some songs, like, the song that Kid Cudi was on, it really irritated me because it sounded like Pursuit of Happiness, which...
Okay, yeah.
That, like, which is, like, one of Kid Cudi's, like, biggest songs. And it's just, like, if you're bringing an artist so big on an album or, like, on one of your songs, you'd want to, like, experiment with them or, like, do things with them instead of literally having them come on for what they're known for.
Yeah.
Which I also... Donda can't go without criticism either. Because I did find that when he brought The Weeknd in, because The Weeknd has a very specific sound.
He does.
And it's very, like... kind of subdued, like, techno-y, kind of, if I would put it that way.
Yeah, like 80s techno throwback.
Yeah, but it's really, like, it's like undertones, like an ominous kind of sound underneath that. And he has, like, this very high-pitched, like, he goes to this very similar range that he sticks in.
Yeah.
And I felt on Hurricane, where it was a song that The Weeknd was on, Hurricane was a song, that's kind of just, like, The Weeknd just sounded like The Weeknd.
I don't know. I feel like he did benefit the track, though. He did, like...
Yeah.
I enjoyed the fact that he was on there, and I think it was a good feature.
Exactly, yeah.
But kind of leading into other problems I had with Donda, and actually both albums, the features outshined the original artist on almost every single song where there was a feature, in my opinion. Most of them. And I also wanted to bring up my main problem with both albums, actually, is the drama around it. And
it was a lot.
The entirety of Certified Lover Boy is just... A majority of the lyrics are about how he supposedly does not care. He could not care less. But he's got a
son. Yeah, that's what the album's about. He just doesn't care. He's rich. He has a son.
Yeah, except he's reiterating the fact that he doesn't care so much to the point where, like, well, you kind of care.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, look at how much I don't care, guys. I really don't care, trust me. Whereas, Kanye avoids 90% of the album, is avoiding that subject matter and all the drama.
He does talk about Drake a couple times, and he kind of does take, like, shots at Drake in some of his... He does. In some of his songs. It's like he never, like, confronts Drake, like, immediately in his song. But they're always, like... The reason why there was, like, drama with this going on is because Kanye and Drake both have had drama with each other in the past.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. Like, I don't know if you ever heard that one song that Kanye made about poop.
Oh, yeah. But no, that's a classic.
If you don't know, Kanye made a song. So he made this this beat because Drake wanted a beat from Kanye. And then Drake was out talking badly about Kanye. So he took the beat that he made for him and said that he could make a better song about poop than Drake could ever make.
He kind of did.
Yeah, so he took the track that he made for Drake and rapped about poop and put it out. And honestly, I know that song better than I know some of Drake's songs, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, starting off with, like, Donda. So the first song on the album, Donda Chant, which I've heard a lot of people not happy about. Donda Chant plays such a key role in the artistry of Donda because, like, definitely, like, the big difference between Donda and Certified Lover Boy is the artistry.
Yeah, I was about to say, I completely agree. He goes about the drama, too, in such an artful way instead of just shallow, one-dimensional ranting about this drama that they've been having over the years where Donda approaches it with there's multiple aspects to the album, multiple lyrical themes, and all these things are dealt with, like you said, in a very artistic manner. Yeah,
like, so Donda Chant, if you don't know, it's basically, I think it was his mother speaking in the song, and all she's saying, or I don't know if it was his mother, but it's just the word Donda over and over again. But the reason why it's cool is because it's to the beat of his mother's dying heartbeat.
Yeah.
Which the whole album is about his mother, and it's about, like, falling in his faith, but knowing that, like, God's got him, like, that's basically what he says, like, over and over again, is that, and also, like, if you've, like, been following Kanye in the past, like, you can see his life has been a mess recently, especially, like, in the sight of social media and, like, all these people, like, his mental health struggles, his mom dying, his divorce, his family, everything like this, and a lot of people don't like Kanye, and I understand. And a lot of people really don't like Drake. Probably for reasons that I can't talk about on this podcast. Not school-friendly, but he has some accusations against him about not amazing things. And he has been accused of not being very welcoming to different types of people.
Yeah, that has surfaced over the years. I'd say generally... I tried I tried avoiding that when listening to both albums, and the beef and all the drama and all that stuff as well, but it's just unavoidable, because, especially on Certified Lover Boy, because that's all he focuses on, is that drama and all that stuff, and what people have against him, and pretending like he doesn't care when quite clearly he cares.
You can't make an album about not caring when you're literally making an album.
Exactly, and like we said, Donda had more than just that, and when he did focus on that, it was done in at least attempting to be clever or nuanced a way about it, about discussing these things and all this petty drama and all that stuff. I think the one thing Kanye did that was kind of stooping to the level of Drake a little bit was featuring those really controversial artists on some of those songs for seemingly no reason besides to be controversial.
Which is what Kanye just seems to do sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like he's just in the spotlight to just drum up Kanye talk. Like, especially, like, with his album coming out. He's done this twice now. He did this with his last album tour. He was like, guys, it's gonna drop! And then doesn't drop it. Yeah. And then he was live streaming from a room in a concert venue for, like, days. He was just living in this room making music. I'm pretty sure there's, like, no sound on the live stream either. And there was one part where he was, like, in, like, this, like, completely, like, black costume, and it, like, looked really scary, and he was just standing in the middle of the room, like, just being Kanye.
Yeah.
Because I guess that's just what Kanye does.
Kanye, he's kind of always been like this. He has two extremes, obviously, because he is bipolar, and that's been known for a while, and that he always makes that present in the media. Maybe he's been trying not to in the past few years.
He makes it present, but he's not the best advocate for mental health. Just because of, like, the way that he talks about how it affects him. He talks, like, I don't know if you saw him on the Joe Rogan podcast. Every once in a while I'll just watch, like, clips of, like, Kanye went on the Joe Rogan podcast. So I had to watch it because I was like, oh my god, Joe Rogan and Kanye West together. Something has to be going on. Like, why is no one talking about this? And what really strikes me about Kanye is the fact that, like, I feel like he just surrounds himself with yes men. Like, he was talking on the Joe Rogan podcast where he was talking about his medications and how they just keep him down and everything. And I was just like, yeah, like, I feel like a lot of people who, like, struggle with mental health like that, like, they feel like their medications, like, hurt them more than they're helping them. But he's always not been the best advocate for mental health and, like, taking your medication and everything. But he definitely, like, surrounds himself with, like, yes men, because there's people around him who are like, yeah, Kanye, run for president. Yeah, Kanye, you'd be amazing. Yeah, build a church. Yeah, Kanye.
Agreed.
Yeah, you're right. You don't need that. Like,
yeah, and somebody in that kind of very unstable state that can, like, vary quite quickly from one side to another, that is the worst possible thing you can have.
Exactly. You need someone to check you. Which is, like, I love Tyler, the Creator, so much. And a big reason why I feel like he's done so well is because he has so many people surrounding him. Like, he talks about this man Clancy a lot, who he said, like, he can't, like, live without because basically, like, he directs him. Yeah. And, like, he's, like, he went in an interview recently after releasing his new album where he was being interviewed, he was just talking about how he just is always talking to people about music and, like, always, collaborating with different artists and everything. And he's just saying how, like, it keeps him humble. Like, these people around him, like, keep him humbled. Yeah. And keep him down to earth, which I feel like Drake and Kanye kind of both need after this album specifically. Yeah. But Donda, I mean, I rated Jail a 7 out of 10. Simply because... Oh, yeah, another thing that really irritated me about this album is because the lack of drums.
Yeah, overall. Yeah, I guess that was pretty lacking. I don't know if it needed it, though.
Jail, though, like, if you listen to Jail was I really liked Jail. Jail was a good track, but with the addition of percussion in there, it would have been really good.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Because there was some times where, like, the song was peaking when it was ending, or, like, there was just moments where it was just Kanye, and, like, drums were just taken to another level, because I had many moments throughout this album where it was just Kanye, and he wasn't, like, peaking in the songs. Like, it was kind of just, like, I was just, like, waiting for the song to, like, dig in, and it just never did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, like, that's where I was on Donda. And I also rated Jonah a 7 out of 10 with Lil Durk and Vori.
Alright, yeah.
It was catchy. Keeps a similar flow.
I'd say my overall... I had 2 defining sentences for both albums. Donda, I said, it was grand yet underwhelming in some ways, and focused yet so disjointed with the amount of bloated tracks. Just, it's kind of all over the place, yet some of the songs and their concepts are so incredibly focused and developed. And the whole album is grand. It's very long. It's a lot of songs, yet some of the songs don't hit as hard.
Yeah, both albums are very long.
Yes, both are bloated. And some of these songs don't hit as hard as a lot of people expected them, especially with this much hype, obviously. And Certified Lover Boy, I said it was overall petty, uninspired, underperformed, but it does have a few sharp and kind of catchy moments, I'd say. Overall, it does have those hits that it's reaching for. If you want an album to throw on at a party, that's probably the one people are going to be going to for a little while. Mm-hmm. A couple songs from there are going to be huge hits, kind of already are. But looking at it from an actual artistry album perspective, yeah, it's petty, uninspired, underperformed, I would say.
So we put up a Google Forms, so we shared it with some people that they could answer and give us their opinions on Donda versus Certified Lover Boy. So Nick Sayani, a freshman at OHS, said Donda is simply the better album. And he talks about DJ, I might be saying this wrong, but DJ Academics, who is one of Drake's biggest fans. And he started listening to the album. on live and fell asleep 2 songs in and was snoring.
He was hyping this up. He was like, no one is better than Drake. He there's a clip of him listing his top 5 artists. He says Drake, and then he says Drake a 6th time.
And then he falls asleep during the 2nd song of the album. He talks about, so Nixon, again in his answer, talks about how Donda just had better production, which I totally agree with.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about Kanye and how the theme throughout the album is, like, his spiritual and religious, like, journey and, like, the themes. And he kind of talks about how Donda's album provokes more emotion than just Drake saying, yeah, I'm Drake, I'm swag. He said Kanye's development is exponentially better than his last album, which is Jesus is King. He said Certified Lover Boy is a corny name and a stupid concept, and he names Donda as the better album.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of what we said about the pettiness and the drama falls in line with a lot of that, and how he could not get over this drama, all these petty things. And yeah, Kanye did put out the more spiritual and artistic album despite it being a little disjointed, and I think that one was very well said. Another one we have is from Dominic Cosbiel, a sophomore. He says, although neither albums are amazing, Donda is a pretty good album even if it has its issues. Donda is a bit filled and some tracks aren't that good. And then he lists some tracks that he does not particularly like. Yeah, I agree with that. It's, again, kind of what we said about it's a good album, although still not amazing because some of these songs are set out to be so grand and huge concepts, yet some of the, I'd say a good portion of them do not hit the mark as well as they could, despite being at least decent songs.
Agreed. They definitely could have been better, and it kind of felt like he was just, Kanye was just, like, submitting or putting out, like, a, kind of like an unfinished album, just a little bit. But I will give him that, like, the way that he produced the album and, like, put it out was interesting. It was a different way, like, differently than, like, people have seen with the listening party and things like that. I know people, like Mark Sayani, a senior at Oswego High School, I know that he went to the listening party with some people, and it looked really interesting. Like, it looks like Kanye put a lot of thought into this album and a lot of emotions, and talks a lot about his, like, upbringing in the album and how his mom affected him and everything like that.
And I think the next one we should get into in these responses would be Michael Seward, a sophomore at OHS. I guess what he starts with here is, there are many things that factor in rating both of the albums, except there isn't, because they both sucked. Both albums are flawed, like quite severely. A lot of what other people have been saying as well about how, you know, they both have their flaws. I'll read some more direct quotes here. He talks about Donda first. He says, so many delays, so many listening parties, so much hype, and you give us this. This album contains 3 good songs, and those songs are Moon, Hurricane, and No Child Left Behind. The rest of the songs on the album are hard skips, no questions about it. Donda Chant was arguably better than any song on this godforsaken album. And now we move, and then he talks about CLB. A little harsh, but he's honest. Those songs do seem to be, at least Moon and Hurricane that he's picked there as his favorites, do seem to be popular ones so far. After the album's been released, I do like those as well. And yeah, the listening parties, the hype, it feels unfinished. A lot of what we've said before, It's just, it's incomplete.
I like how he goes on with his answer, and he says, now we move on to CLB by Drake. Ah, yes, one of the most popular rappers in the world. Surely you'll know how to pick a great album cover. What's that? A 4x4 graphic of pregnant woman, and there are emojis, too, in front of a white background. Great choice, Drake. The album contains one good song, which is Knife Talk, but hey, at least it was released on time, right? This pathetic duo of 2 awful albums doesn't even live up to rapper Baby Keem's new album. I haven't listened to, so I can't give insight on that. And who in the world even is Baby Keem? Overall, Donda is probably a 4 out of 10, with Certified Lover Boy at a solid 3 out of 10. In the end, however, Drake does attain his title as CLB, aka Certified Loser Boy.
Wow.
That was a great response. I love where he actually talks about the artistry in the album and says, like, the 4x4 graphic of pregnant women. Like, they were just the emojis, too.
Yeah.
Like, he could have done so much better. But we also, Donda was just a black a black 4x4.
It's a black square.
Yeah. He doesn't do much there either. You can't pass that one up, You can't not criticize the both album covers. It was pretty bad. But at the same time, something in me wants to say that Donda's album cover is better.
Honestly, it is. In a way, he's letting.
I would much rather it had a black background than seeing the 4x4 of like those pregnant
emojis. Like,
as soon as I saw the album cover and the album name, I was like, "This is gonna be cringy. This is already bad. I can already tell you, this is terrible." I just think Drake is out of date and getting old. Is Kanye older than Drake? I think he is.
I'm not sure.
He definitely is.
So. It seems like it.
But even though he is older than him. It's just in spirit. Drake just is out of date. He's kind of cringy. After making something like Hotline Bling, I don't know if you can be relevant ever again.
He is out of touch a little.
After dancing like that in the Hotline Bling music video, I don't think you can ever be relevant ever again.
Yeah, I mean...
That was bad. I remember that.
I'd say, the black album cover allows the music at least to speak for itself. I don't know if that was his point. That's the only thing I can see from that. Whereas the Certified Lover Boy album cover
it's a mouthful. That's a lot to say.
Yeah, it's just, it's again speaking to the artistry. Just, why?
Yeah.
You know?
Like, who decided this?
Yeah, we have another long one from Aiden Phipps, a sophomore at OHS. He says in his opening sentence, the issue between Donda and CLB are more deep-rooted than plays and album sales. Kanye West and Drake alike have a strong cult following and a rich music discography. In both of these cases, we find the artists at a creative lull. Obviously, it's wrong to say both of them are bad. They're not. CLB has replayability but lacks memorable lyrics or catchy production.
I would say he has a couple songs that are replayable. I would really rather listen to Kanye's song about poop than listen to CLB over and over again.
Agreed. I'm sure he means that, though. There's songs on there that have replayability. Obviously, people are not going to be replaying that hour and a half, however long it was, album over and over again. I agree about the production as well. He continues, Donda, on the other hand, shows replayability and better than average production. More songs on Donda leave me satisfied compared to CLB, where I was left dissatisfied and honestly confused as to whether this is a bad attempt at setting a trend, something Drake is known for doing, or just Drake experimenting with his music. Either way, CLB suffers from modest lyrics and, quite frankly, worse production than Donda. Donda, on the other hand, has a more serious yet intriguing vibe, despite the song Donda Chant. Overall, Donda over CLB.
I agree. I feel like that's the main consensus. Unless you're like a hardcore Drake fan, I haven't heard anybody else argue for Drake. Only the people I've heard argue for Drake are like people who have been listening to Drake, like in love with Drake, like hardcore Drake fans.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna like Drake have had good music in the past. He's not a bad artist.
He has good songs.
Mm-hmm. And I agree where he said it was a creative lull, at least for Drake. I don't know about Kanye. I feel like Kanye definitely could have done better. I don't know if it was a creative lull though, because the album has good production, has good meaning, it has good imagery, all these things like that, good lyrics. Interesting people, not all interesting people. Some people should not have been on the album. But interesting way to perform. Interesting way to put the album out. Although it was draining when we were like, Kanye, just give us an album. It's not funny anymore. Stop it. But I wouldn't say Kanye was at a creative lull. I would say he was I think this album came from a difficult place and an interesting time in his life. But yeah, I mean, that's my opinion on Donda versus CLB. Overall, I think the consensus is Donda's a little bit better, at least.
Yeah, I'd say most people agree with that.
I think we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was our opinions on Kanye West's Donda versus Drake's Certified Lover Boy.
Thank you for listening, and thank you for those who submitted answers.